बिस्मिल्लाहिर रहमानिर रहीम रब्बि ज़िदनी इल्मा।
Now the next thing will see something called a ping tool or ping utility or ping software, which is generally common in most or almost in every operating system, whether it is a router or whether it is any networking device or any operating system like Windows, Linux, or any Mac operating systems. So the ping command or ping tool is a simple way to test the communication between the two networking devices. So it's a well-known command in all operating systems, as I said, in Windows, Linux, or any Apple device, or even if you take a router switch, in every device or in every operating system, will be using this ping tool for testing the connectivity between these two devices. Like take an example. Let's say I got a device here, and I want to see whether these two devices are able to reach each other or not. So I just want to confirm the connectivity between them and also to confirm that there is a communication between them. Then we simply give a command called ping and then IP address of that particular device you want to reach. Like in my case, on my laptop, I have verified my IP address. So my IP address is 192.168.15.27. So I got my wireless router. IP address of that wireless router is 15.1. So I want to see whether I'm able to reach or whether I'm able to communicate with my wireless router or not. So we simply use a ping command. And when I say ping command, you can see the reply is coming. So basically, when you generate a ping request, this PC, this is my PC, is sending a request to my router, which is using the IP address of 192.168.15.1 on my network here. So it is going to send out a small packets, generally small packets, ping request, or generally this small packets is sent in the form of echo request. So we call this kind of message as an echo request message, which is being sent by the source, and the device, whichever is the destination device you want to reach, basically that is going to send out something called echo reply messages. So these echo reply messages are sent by the receiver or the destination device, confirming that, okay, I'm able to reach. So that's what you can see here, the reply. The reply is coming from 15.1, and you can see some other parameters also. So we can also test with some other options, like as I'm connecting to internet, I can also try to test my reachability to my google.com, let's say, the website. So you can see I'm able to reach. And of course, we generally type the URL. There will be a DNS server, which will translate to the equivalent IP address, because the communication happens based on IP address, and this is the actual IP address of the Google server, the public IP, we can say. Or even if you try to test any other servers, like let's say yahoo.com, or let's say I'm going to test my own website. So probably this is the web server address. You can see the replies coming. Okay, so basically here you can see some of the options here when you are testing the connectivity here. So this shows you the actual IP address of that particular device, right? So even though if I'm typing the URL here, even though if I'm typing the URL, it is going to reply with an IP address. So there is a DNS server which will resolve the IP to basically name to IP. And the next thing, you also see something called payload. You can see, as I said, the ping echo request is going to send out small packets to the IP host. And generally the small packet size will be generally 32 bytes. And you can see here, this is 32 bytes here. And the reply is also coming as 32 bytes. So the default payload or the default size of the packet, small packet, which is sent by the source machine, will be 32 bytes. And the reply also comes with the same 32 bytes. So, okay, so this is like a default. And other parameters you can see here, like if you observe, there is something called TTL. So TTL stands for time to live. Now, generally, this TTL value will vary depending upon the operating systems as well as the devices. So it actually defines the lifespan of the packet, which has to pass through with number of hops. Hops is nothing but the number of routers. So how it works is like generally the default TTL value in Windows machines generally it is 128. We can say the TTL value is something like this. So TTL value you can compare like this. Like if I'm this is my Windows host, let's say my PC, and I'm testing to something like a Yahoo server on this side here. Now the TTL value starts with like 128, and when it goes here, when it goes to one hop, the next router basically it reduces to 127, 126, 125, and finally when it reaches the destination, the TTL value will be 124, something like that. So it will be decremented normally, and it will start with some random number normally, and this random number will vary based on the operating systems. Like I said, in the Windows machines, it will be like 128, and if you're using Cisco routers, generally it starts with 255, and again it will vary. So this value will be decremented as it passes through the number of hops or each and every hop. So this is actually a loop prevention mechanism, because you don't want your packet when it is traveling, to come back again, because there is a possibility that your packet may actually travel and may come back again here. This may create some kind of loops. So that's the reason we are saying the limit is like 128. So that means if it reaches when the TTL value becomes 0, it will normally drop that connection. So that's like kind of loop prevention, which means the packet cannot go more than this many number of hops. Okay, so this TTL value will vary depending upon individual devices. Like if you see, if I go to my command prompt and if I try to verify the TTL value for google.com, you can see it is slightly different. You can see it shows you 57. And if I try to ping to my website here, and you can see the TTL value is different. So depending upon the destination, the number of hops or the number of routers it is used to reach that particular destination, it will vary. So that is one thing, TTL value. And there is one more option. There is something called time here. This is actually the round trip time, we call it as. Now round trip time means it's a duration of your packet in milliseconds, again in milliseconds, for a network to reach or to go from a starting point, which means this is my PC, which is a starting point. So it is going and reaching, let's say, Envoy website and reaching the destination, and then back again to the starting point. So which means the ping request or the echo request which is being sent and received, what is the duration? So we call it as a round trip time, just like you go and come back. Okay, so this will vary based on every packet, because sometimes it will take 4 milliseconds, sometimes it may take 12. So it may not be same for each ping packet, because when you generate a ping request, basically it will send 4 messages or 4 echo request messages, and you'll be getting something called 4 echo reply messages. Like here, that's what you can see. These are the 4 messages. So by default, it generates 4. If you're doing some kind of troubleshooting, then we can use -T. -T is just for continuous request. If you want, you can use these additional options basically to test this. You can stop this by using Control C button. So these are some of the options what you will see with the ping. So ping utility, basically it's a utility to test the communication between the two devices, and it's going to send out an ICMP request, and the reply is ICMP response. So by default, it generates 4 ping requests on the Windows machine. So it may vary in the router again, the number of echo request and echo reply messages it sends. And again, we have discussed something like TTL value defines the hops, which will decrement. And then we have time, round trip time, and then the payload, that is nothing but the number of the amount of the size of the packet sent by the source machine.